What's up, family? I want to have a heart talk with you guys. Um, it's Tuesday, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm always looking over there, setting the time because there's a stove over there. It has a clock on it. So, um, yesterday was my one day off, and I had the privilege of being able to hang out with a lady friend of mine. And we're sitting there, we're watching Mulan, um, uh, the latest Disney movie that came out. Um, the live action one or the real people one. I've always been fascinated with the cartoon, um, and I've always wanted to see this new version of it. And so we're sitting there at Starbucks yesterday, and I had my laptop, and I have Disney Plus on my laptop, and we're just sitting there and we're watching it, right, and just enjoying ourselves. And I was so caught up in the movie, so caught up in the movie. Stay with me, we're gonna go somewhere. And I always use movies and shows, cartoons, whatever, I've always used those things as a tool in my mentoring and coaching young people, young adults, and just adults, period. Because the movie, the show, whatever, can say things and get people's attention in a totally different way than in engaging in a one-to-one conversation. You know what I mean? So if you're into mentoring, um, coaching kids, especially kids, or one-on-ones with adults, young adults, and you have plenty of time, man, put on a good movie that has a message that's going to get their attention so much more so. And they're going to remember that a lot more than they're going to remember just the interaction between you and them. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Use those as great tools. They're great tools. Anyways, we're watching Mulan. And um, it's an amazing story. It's an amazing story. This young lady wants to bring honor to her family, you know, and there's so many dynamics in that story, that young ladies have to deal with, you know, and it's sad state of reality, not just in China, in America, all over the world, you know, the extra burden that so many women have to carry, so many young ladies have to carry. You know what I mean? Their fathers wanting a son and never getting that son. And man, all they got is girls, and so many of the young ladies I've talked to have been rejected by their father because their father wanted a son. So many of the young ladies I talk to talk about how their father was never really active in their life because they wanted a son. Somebody they could be rough and tumble with and play football with and, tackle each other and all those other things. Like they couldn't do that with their daughter. You know what I mean? I remember as my kids are younger, man, my daughters, we had to play tackle. We played tackle football. I throw the ball up in the air and everybody gang piled on them. You know what I mean? Whoever got the ball, it wasn't no football. It was just, man, we were just hitting each other. You know what I mean? And it's like, I wanted to toughen them up. I wanted to toughen my girls up. And one of my daughters, Rayon, she's always talking about, Dad, I still got scars in my leg from us playing tackle. It's like, okay, get over it. You know what I mean? I ain't apologizing for that. You know what I mean? I don't care. It is what it is. She's a beautiful young lady. And I never wanted any of my kids to grow up feeling like that. I never wanted my daughters to feel like, man, Dad wasn't there in their life like he was in my son's lives. My sons, we played football, we played catch and all that other stuff. But what I did with my sons, man, I did the exact same thing with my daughters. There wasn't no different treatment between my sons and my daughters in that regard. You know what I mean? And so in this movie, this young lady has a younger sister, and she's growing up, and she's having to dim her light so that every other person around her is not intimidated. She's having to lower herself, lower her frequency of who she is, why she came here, so that she could be accepted and embraced by so many others, by her community, by her family. And if the truth be told, the truth be told, family, there's so many of us, that grew up in that atmosphere. We grew up having to dim our lights because our parents was intimidated. Our parents were jealous. Family members was jealous of what we had in us. Our families was jealous of what we're capable of doing. And so in order to be accepted, in order to be embraced, we had to dumb ourselves down. And unfortunately, so many of us dumbed ourselves down for so long, we're just straight out dumb as fuck now. We've completely lost all light that we've had in that regard. You know what I mean? We've lost that magical touch of who we are, of why we came here. So many of us have forfeited that. Just trying to fit in, just trying to be accepted, just trying to be embraced. She goes on, and battles going on in China. She takes her dad's armor, sword, and everything else, pretends to be a guy so that her old father wouldn't have to go to battle. And she does amazing, goes through so much trying to hide her identity. She goes through so much trying to fit in as one of the guys. Saves the community or the group from being slaughtered. And in the process, she has to die. Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. And what I mean she has to die, in the story, the person she was portraying, the person she was trying to be, had to die. She was faking the funk, trying to fit in, not capable of reaching her full potential, having to lower her and dim her light just to be accepted and embraced. That person had to die. And Mulan, the real person, started walking her journey, started fulfilling her purpose, And so I talk a lot about the phoenix. Man, I have a phoenix tattoo right back here. Goes around my lotus and over my kids' names. I talk about the transformation. I always talk about from caterpillar to butterfly and the phoenix, being rebirth. You know what I mean? And that's what we have to do in life, family. Because we faked the funk for so much. We pretended to be something we wasn't. Just to fit in, just to be accepted, just to be loved. We've lowered our frequency just so that others feel comfortable around us. We dimmed our light just so that others could feel comfortable in their own skin. Just so that they wouldn't feel bad because they didn't have the purpose and the potential that we have. Because they didn't have the gifts that we have. And so after all that Mulan has done to save this regiment, they banish her. She just saved their lives. But because the rule of the land diminish the power of women. Because the rule, and it's one of the reasons why I have issues with rules, you know what I mean? Some rules are good, but the great majority of them, man, they're useless. They're useless. It is what it is. We have so much established, organized religion and just all this other stuff that's not necessary. And it diminishes who we really are. It puts us in this little tiny box. After doing all that she did and revealing her true identity, she became ashamed. She shamed her family. She embarrassed her family. Did something noble, saved all these guys' lives. But she was an embarrassment. She was cursed. Simply because she was a woman. Family, we have to grow up. We have to grow up emotionally. We have to grow up spiritually. In the end, Mulan found this quote unquote other person, another lady, who was similar to Mulan. And I love this part of the movie. This lady became evil because she was rejected by her community, by her family, by all that she knew, because of her gifts. Stay with me. So you had this lady who started out as a young girl just like Mulan, who was banished because of the powers that she had, because the gifts and abilities that she had. All she wanted to do was belong. All she wanted to do was be loved for who she was. All she wanted to do was be accepted for who she was. And yet everyone turned their backs on her, except for one villain. One quote unquote bad guy took her in and used her powers for wrongdoings, for evil gain. And she felt like she belonged. And so there's this conversation between Mulan and this lady, this older lady. And it's weird, family, because when you look at our lives, so often there's this interaction with our older selves and our younger selves. And our older selves is telling our younger selves, man, I've been where you're at. I've made wrong choices. I've made wrong choices. Don't follow this path. Don't do what I've done. Don't make the mistakes that I've made. And so in the movie, the lady is telling Mulan, we're the same. And Mulan's like, no, we're not. No, we're not. You know, just been argumentative. We're not the same. I'm good and you're bad and all this other stuff. And at the end of the movie, the older lady sees the love, sees that little girl within herself. She sees the light in Mulan, and she does what she can to help her, even with sacrificing her life so that Mulan can continue to live. Why am I sharing that? Why is that so important? Because our old way of thinking has to die. That old person within us has to die. We have to be reborn. We have to let go of all the negativity. We have to grow up. We have to grow up. And growing up is not about, man, I'm 21 now. Man, I'm 18 now. Man, I'm 30 now. Man, I'm 35 now. Man, I'm 40, I'm 50. That's not being grown up. That's just grown up in age. That has nothing to do with your intellect. That has absolutely nothing to do with your spirituality. That has absolutely nothing to do with your emotional stability and well-being. We have to understand that on this journey that we walk, there's going to come a fork in the road where you're going to continue to strive or seek to be accepted by everybody else, or you're going to grow up, accept who you are, value and love who you are. The only two choices you have. The only two choices you have. And the great majority of us, we're going to continue to seek the validation of others. We're going to continue to seek the love and the stamp of approval from others. And the whole purpose of the journey was to show us that, man, we don't love ourselves. We don't value ourselves. We don't appreciate ourselves. And so when we look at all these other people rejecting us, man, that's a mere reflection of us rejecting ourselves. When I see all these people, and I walk this life, I walk this path. And as a young man, I'm wanting to be accepted and loved by it. That's all I wanted. Man, just accept me, just love me. I'm doing stupid stuff just to be accepted, just to be loved, just to be seen, to be noticed. And what I had to learn was that I didn't love myself. I didn't see who I really was. I didn't know who I really was. I wasn't walking in who I really was. I wasn't walking in my purpose. I was hiding. I was wearing a mask, just like Milan in the beginning of the story, pretending to be a guy, pretending to be something she wasn't. Many of you are still wearing your mask, and you're frustrated and confused why people don't see you, why people don't appreciate you, why people don't cherish you, why people don't love you and see your true heart, see your true nature. They can't because of the mask you're wearing. Because you're not being true to yourself. I don't care what you do. You're not being true to yourself. My hope and prayer is that we learn how to take the mask off. That we get so comfortable in our skin that we don't have to wear the mask. We could get rid of the mask. We could burn the mask up. Because we love ourselves. We value ourselves. We cherish ourselves. We accept ourselves. All the good, all the bad, whatever, the ugly, whatever. We accept who we are. Understand, accepting who you are, loving who you are, embracing who you are, man, that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. But it is what it is. Don't allow yourself to dim your light, to kill your purpose. just trying to make other people happy, just trying to make other people comfortable in their skin. You didn't come here for that purpose. We came here to be beacons of hope, beacons of love, beacons of light, beacons of charity, beacons of wisdom. That's what we came here to be. And I'm not trying to make you comfortable in your skin. I want you to see who you are. I want you to get uncomfortable with how you see yourself. I want you to get uncomfortable on how you think. Especially if your thought process is negative. Especially if you're dimming your light trying to fit in. I don't want you to be comfortable in that. I'm going to challenge you, which is going to make you uncomfortable. I'm going to challenge your perspective. I'm going to give you a different twist on things, on your life. Not to make you comfortable, to make you uncomfortable. You cannot really grow and reach your full potential by being comfortable. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You got to be stretched. Most of us are not willing to go that extra mile. Most of us are not willing to get out of our comfort zone. And so we dim our own light. We blame everybody else, but it is us who dim our own light. It is us who stunts our own growth and development. It is us who refuse to walk in our purpose, who refuses to walk our journey to reach our greatest good. I love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.